Hi, everybody. Brian David Marshall here at the Tournament Center during the World Championships, and I am here to talk to Sam Black about what he thinks about Standard and how he came up with a red-white token deck that, well, we started calling Plymouth Rock in the back room. So talk to us a little bit about what you were thinking about for Standard coming into this tournament and how you tried to approach it.
Well, I was pretty open to finding anything. The Pro Tour I played Green-Black Devotion, which hasn't really done well since then, didn't do super well there. The deck felt okay, but like I would like to do better. So I was just trying whatever. I was very impressed by Hordling Outburst as a card. I think that especially among pros, I expect people to be pretty into Jeskai, and just making a lot of tokens is really hard for previous lists of that deck to deal with because they have so much spot removal. And so that was like a direction that I knew was good. Early on, I tried some blue-white heroic. That deck's pretty good. Heliod's Pilgrim was the main innovation in that deck that really impressed me. The way that my roommate, who's the person I was preparing for this event with, talked about Heliod's Pilgrim in blue-white heroic was, you don't think of it as a good card in the deck because it's not part of any of your best draws. But if anything goes wrong, it's the card you want. Like, anytime when you're not just curving out and killing them, it's your best draw. Because you just want to, like, it gives you a guy, it gives you Ordeal of Thassa. That's all the deck's trying to do. All right,
well,
so,
let's start taking a look at some of the cards, and we'll see how this played out. You start off with a couple of creatures, Monastery Swiftspear, Secret of the Way, both of these cards, Jeskai regulars, and you know, we've seen them both do well in tournament. What makes you bring these to your red-white tokens deck?
Basically, I want to, the rest of my deck is pretty controlling, and my deck is really like a Chained to the Rocks theme deck, which positions me really badly against control decks. So I wanted to have like good aggressive creatures that could get under their removal and start dealing damage so that I would have some hope in those matchups, which we just saw against Flock. And so I wanted to like keep my curve as low as possible, which is why I'm playing like Swiftspear over something like Rabble Masters. I just want to come out of the gates, start the beats, and then be able to just like kill every creature they play as they play it and hit them for 2.
Right, so once you get a little further up in chain, things start to get a little clogged on your mana curve. So let's take a look at the next set of cards. There we see Heliod's Pilgrim, Chained to the Rocks. Sadly, you can't get Eidolon of Countless Battles with the Pilgrim, even though it does function as an aura.
Right, yeah, Pilgrim says search for an aura card. The type line on Eidolon of Countless Battles does not contain the word aura, so.
Yeah.
But what Heliod's Pilgrim does, the only thing that it does, is get Chained to the Rocks. You might think, well, I mean, is that good? Like, this is like a tutor card that only has a single target. Like, why is that worth doing? And the answer is, well, Chained to the Rocks is just absurdly efficient once you have a mana base that can actually support it. Once we've bothered to do that, why play 4 Chained to the Rocks when we can play 7? And Heliod's Pilgrim, another way to think about it is if you compare it to Fiend Hunter, it's like a Fiend Hunter, except when they kill it, they don't get their guy back, and you don't need to wait for them to play the creature that you want to hunt. You can just put it out proactively, and then when they play their Siege Rhino or their like Butcher or whatever that they play after you play your 3-mana spell, you're just immediately ready for it, and you chain it and hit them with your Pilgrim. And you have to spend 1 more mana total, but you can spend it over 2 turns if you want, and you're also just mising a prowess trigger. So, really great card.
Right, which we saw in your match against Flock, where that it ends up
well, Chained to the Rocks doesn't do anything, but I have 2 guys, so I guess Heliod's Pilgrim shock you.
And talk a little bit about, just for a second going back, talking about the Eidolon of Countless Battles. Why is this card here? You can't search for it. Like, what is that? What role is that playing?
You have more Chained to the Rocks than most decks. Chained to the Rocks is an aura. Eidolon of Countless Battles sees them. So that's just a nice little interaction. Also, as we were about to see, there are a lot of tokens. Heliod's Pilgrim is just a random dude that hangs out in play. You end up with a lot of pretty irrelevant permanents in play that are each making Eidolon of Countless Battles bigger. And often what will happen is like you'll have like 3 Hordling Outburst tokens, and you'll put Eidolon of Countless Battles on one of them. Suddenly it's a 5/5 or bigger. They have to like chump block it and then like use a removal spell on it, and then you still have your like 4/4 Eidolon that they have to deal with again. So it's just like a huge hasty threat that they need 2 answers for. very good card.
Even if you just have a 1/1 idle on the next turn, you play a Hordeling Outburst, and suddenly that is getting in for 4. So let's take a look at some of the cards that are making tokens for you. Raise the Alarm, not a card we've seen necessarily a ton of in Standard. Hordeling Outburst is becoming a little bit more ubiquitous.
Yeah.
Talk about these two cards.
Well, I'm a token strategy. I'm trying to just like punish removal, and these are the most efficient token cards. They're really just there because they're the best way. I mean, they're a threat that turns on prowess. They make your cheapest guys better. And they're really there as enablers for your big threats, which are Eidolon of Countless Battles and Wingmate Rock.
Right.
These tokens just hang out and play. Your opponent can like just play a creature and you can't attack with them, but they're unlikely to actually kill all of them because the tokens don't really matter, and that means that they just hang out ready to let you trigger raid whenever you are ready to cast Wingmate Rock, so you always get the full Broodmate Dragon.
Speaking of the Wingmate Rock, so that's our next card that we have lined up here. You see 4 Wingmate Rocks, and you compared it to Broodmate Dragon. That was a card that was a Pro Tour stalwart when it was in Standard. Talk a little bit more about this card, and I guess attacking with just throwing 3 or 4 tokens into the red zone with,
to gain life.
To gain life seems like it's probably pretty relevant.
Absolutely, yeah. Wingmate Rock, I mean, the card's just incredible. It like the rate. I mean, this is just one of those cards where I saw it and I'm like, wow, like you get 6 power worth of flyers over 2 creatures that doesn't die to Elspeth. Like they need 2 removal spells. Like it doesn't die to Bileblight. The numbers are just absolutely exactly where you want to be in this format. And so it's just like a real 2-for-1 for 5 mana that just kills them if they don't answer it quickly. And even if they do like have 2 answers, often it'll take them 2 turns to play those answers and they'll take a bunch of damage in the process. Incredibly hard to race because of the life gain ability, just like fantastic. That's the card that the rest of the deck is built to support. It's creatures that are going to be in play because they're not worth killing so that you can trigger raid.
And this is also an excellent card against Planeswalkers, right? Like, like you said, it's
yes.
positioned really well against Elspeth.
Yes.
You know, it does. Elspeth can't kill it, and it's really good at killing Elspeth.
It just kills it in one attack. Yep.
So, all right, let's take a look at some of the other things you're using to kill. 3 copies of Stoke the Flames plays especially well with something like Hordeling Outburst, and even to a lesser extent, Raise the Alarm.
Yeah.
What's going on with your removal and damage suite here?
So basically, I mean, this is, I think that this is a relatively low amount of removal for this kind of deck. And that's because I have so many Chain of the Rocks.
7.
And like that's where I'm getting a lot of value out of this like Pilgrim, because I want a full board for my Eidolon of Countless Battles and stuff. So I want my creature density to be really high. And like playing that as my threat instead of something like Rabblemaster just lets me cheat on removal, keep these numbers lower. Lightning Strike over Stoke the Flames, like rather than 4 Stoke, 2 Strike, I want to have, you know, just more curve efficient, be able to kill Rabblemaster when it comes down. But you need some instant speed removals to answer Rabblemaster and...
Let's take a quick look at the mana that you use to make this all work. Evolving Wilds is an interesting card. Any particular reason for?
Yeah, it's a mountain, and like it lets you get a mountain so that you can chain things to the rock while getting plains, because the deck has a lot of double white.
Okay.
And so you it's the only way to like make your mana have the support for the double white while always having a mountain to be able to chain.
And then really quickly taking a look at the sideboard here, Ash Cloud Phoenix, Chandra Pyromancer, Lightning Strike, and then the last couple cards, Arc Lightning, Glare of Heresy, and Erase. Anything you feel like you'd want to change about the deck at this point, or are you feeling pretty good?
I played 1 match. I think it was against my worst matchup, and I won it, so I'm feeling pretty good.
All right, so there you have it. Sam Black, Brian David Marshall, bringing you to Plymouth Rock from the Tournament Center.